All right. For today's tier list Tuesday, we are going to be ranking Final Fantasy games. Now, here's the thing. I already have the section here, have not played, because I have not played every Final Fantasy. So this is the Final Fantasy tier list of 2021, you know? So we could possibly do another one day in the future if I play a bit more. So let's just go ahead and put whatever we haven't played. So 11, 5 for after something. I forgot what AF really means. 4, 14, 1. Oh wait, shoot, that's 9. 1, 6, X2. Wow, this is like a good amount of the Final Fantasy. 13 Lightning Returns, 13 2. What is this? This is 12 R. I don't even know what that one is. I've actually never heard of this one. 12 and 2. So wow, I have only played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Really? Have I only? Well, I guess I haven't played that much. But what I'm gonna do after I rank these ones, I'm gonna make a ranking of like which ones I would like to play next, like in order. Which ones intrigue me more than others, because I have seen a good amount of like other Final Fantasy games that I haven't played from these ones. So I'll rank that. And this is primarily has most of the main story games. I mean, there's like 13.2 and like 12.2 and stuff like that, or X2. But there are other like spin-off Final Fantasy games I'd like to play as well, like Type 0 or World of Final Fantasy. But let's go ahead and rank these guys over here. By the way, I enjoyed every Final Fantasy game I played. That doesn't mean I'm gonna give everyone an S. If something's a C, it's in comparison to like the other Final Fantasy games I played, but it's not really like I don't think of it as like a C tier game. Like most of the Final Fantasy games, if anything, it's either like a B or an A for me. Okay, so the one I like the least of the ones I have played, I don't really like 8 that much. I think 8 is cool. I thought Squall was cool. Renault was cool. But I don't know. I didn't really like the rest of the cast that much. Like they didn't. I don't know. I just didn't like them as much. And I felt like that was a big thing to make me not like the game too much. Like I just kind of like the main 2 characters. That freaking final boss pissed me off. But I do say 8 is a game I would like to replay. I feel like replaying it a second time would help me appreciate it more. It's not like I hated it. It's just like there were certain things I didn't like about it. But if I replayed it, now that I kind of understand what the story, going through the story the first time is one crazy ride. But yeah, I have to put 8. Like I don't like it as much as the other games I've played, but I still think it's a really cool game, and I would definitely want to replay it. The next Final Fantasy game that I played, I'm gonna put 3 here. I think 3 is a very solid game. Simple story. It's one of the earlier Final Fantasies, so nothing too complicated. Pretty simple. Job system was cool. The only thing I honestly didn't like was I played on the Steam version and I couldn't like speed up gameplay because there was a lot of times where I had to grind, and that was like the only thing that sucked. Like the battle would take a while. Not because it was hard, but just because like it was kind of slow. So it just kind of sucked. Like I wish there was like a turbo mode. Maybe there is, and I just didn't know about it. But other than that, it was a really fun game. Pretty solid. I could put it in B. Like I like it a lot more than 8. At least like my first experience with it. But I don't know. Like it was just pretty solid, pretty safe. Nothing like too crazy. I'm just gonna say it's around like the same tier as 8. Okay, so now we have 15, 9, 7, 10, and 13. Okay, so this is gonna sound really weird, but I think 9 and 10 are really good Final Fantasy games. If I had to recommend anyone a Final Fantasy game, I would recommend them 9 or 10. I think they're like probably like the best ones, but they're not my personal favorites. I think they're really cool. I slightly like 9 a little bit more than 10. Yeah, just slightly. I think 9's like slightly better than 10. 10, like I really like. 10 was actually like the first Final Fantasy game I played. It wasn't the first one I finished though. I stopped midway, but then I beat it again later on. Or I beat it for the first time later on. But very, very solid games. I think 9 though, I don't know, I just feel like 9 does a better job. Like 9 seems more like the older Final Fantasies, I guess. Like it seemed closer to like what I've seen from like the older Final Fantasies, while 10 is like a bit different, but still pretty Final Fantasy. I like both battle systems pretty well, but I don't know, 9 just gives me more Final Fantasy vibes. 10's still cool. I didn't really like the voice acting too much, but you know, that was like, it was an older game, so that was still pretty like groundbreaking, right? Pretty funny though. But yeah, I don't know, they're kind of even for me, but I think the reason I like 9 is I just really like Vivi. Vivi is like probably one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters. I thought his story was really cool, so I thought Vivi was like really cool, and maybe that's just like the slight edge over 10. 10, I like Titus, you know, they were cool. Waka. So yeah, you know, I think 9 is like slightly above 10. These are still definitely the ones I would recommend to anyone if you've never played Final Fantasy. I just feel like those are good ones to recommend to people. But yeah, for personal favorites, like to me they were just like a solid JRPG. Okay, so A tier, I have to put 13 there. So 13 is the most recent Final Fantasy game I played. I heard a lot of things about 13. Some people don't like it being linear. Maybe the gameplay. The gameplay sometimes is kind of like mash auto attack. But I don't know. I like playing it. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like too hard or anything, but it was just like pretty fun. I like the concept of the battle system. Sorry, I like hit my table with my chair. I really like the concept of the battle system, but I think one of the best things about 13 for me is the cast. So like a big thing about me liking a Final Fantasy game isn't just gameplay or story, it's just like how much do I like the cast. And I thought 13 did a really good job, because like the cast are like a good amount of them like didn't know each other beforehand. And then their like relationships with each other just like work out really well. I think in the middle of Final Fantasy 13, when they like overcome some problems with each other, once they learn more about each other, like that was some of the best like just game story I've seen. And like the relationships were just like really good. I really like the characters in Final Fantasy 13, so yeah, I really enjoyed it. You know, I would say that it would be a bit cooler to have like a different battle system. If you gave me like a different battle system than 13, as much as I liked it, like if you gave me the characters and gave me like battle system of like 10 or 9, like I would still be cool with it. So, but it was unique. It was unique. 13 was really cool. Okay, so S tier. I really like Final Fantasy VII. I can completely understand why this is like one of the most iconic Final Fantasies. Like it's definitely like one where I would say like it's like easier to like the characters. I guess, I don't know, maybe that's just my opinion, but I like the characters in that game. I did kind of think that Cloud carried like one of the coolest things about Cloud is a lot of people know who Cloud is even without playing Final Fantasy VII. But I feel like you really understand who Cloud is once you actually play. And then you like, some people might just think, oh, Cloud's some emo edgelord guy, but like when you actually play the game, it's like, wow, man, this is Cloud. Like, I also like Tifa. Tifa's cool. I remember my main party was always like Tifa, Red 13, and Cloud. So I'm actually replaying Final Fantasy VII like from time to time. I got on the Switch. I like it a bit more there than the Steam version because now I have turbo mode, or it was just easier for me to unlock turbo mode when I want to speed up through certain things. So yeah, like 7's pretty up there. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy because we got one over here and we're playing music from it right now. I will say this though. I really enjoy FF7R's combat. I think it's so good. Man, if 13 had FF7R's combat, man, I would love 13. But I think by the time like the whole 7R like series finishes, that may possibly be like my favorite Final Fantasy game. Assuming like it, does a good job executing everything. Okay, so my favorite Final Fantasy game is 15. This was actually the first one I beat. So 10 was the first one I started, but this was the first one I beat. I actually got 10 just so I could like play a Final Fantasy game before 15, but then I didn't finish it. And 15 was really fun. I know it has a lot of flaws. Like I played it on day one, and I replayed it like last year, and it was a lot better when they added new updates and stuff. But one, I think I really like the cast of 15, the bros and everything. I think the story is actually really cool. I just think it does a poor job executing it, because to understand the story, it wasn't really like I only went through the game. Like you had to like watch a movie. Sometimes you might have to read certain things. Like I read the lore like online, and I thought the story was cool, but if you only go through the game, like let's just say you don't have internet and you play Final Fantasy 15, there's going to be like a lot of stuff where you're kind of just like, what the heck is going on? But for me, it was very fun. I like action RPGs, so I thought 15 was really cool. Still one of my favorites. Like I said, I think 9 and 10 are personally the best Final Fantasy games. So those are the ones I would recommend to people. Unless if you say I like action RPGs, then I would just recommend 15. But like this is my personal favorite, and I'm just going off with how did I feel after I played the game. How do I feel after like now? Like how do I feel about the game now? Like I really like it. I know there's flaws and stuff, but I really enjoyed it. So okay, so this is my ranking of Final Fantasy games I've played. I've only really played 7. I'm gonna go ahead and rank the games I have already played. Or I mean, I have not played, and in what order do I want to play them? All right. So let's first. Oh shoot! Oh shoot! Which one did I put over there? Let's 11, 5. No, wait. Oh shoot! Am I not able to like put them back down? I can't put them back down or out. Okay, that's really weird. All right, let's make add row below. Okay, already played. So let's move all the ones there then. We moved X here. So this is this 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. So have not played. So we're gonna be doing a ranking of which ones I would like to play next. I will say I want to play the spin-offs like I said, Type 0, World of Final Fantasy. Those are pretty up there. S tier of which ones I want to play next. Because I recently played FF13. 13-2, pretty up there. 13 Lightning Returns, pretty up there. That's probably like the next Final Fantasy games I'll be playing, other than like just replaying FF7. I am replaying FF7R as well because I'm doing hard mode. But when I say I'm replaying them, I'm not like doing like a long session or anything. It's just kind of like if I'm bored, I'll just go play a bit. But yeah, 13-2, 13 are pretty much the ones up there that I really want to play. Shoot, what is the next Final Fantasy game I'd like to play? I think I'd want to play 5. 5 is kind of up there. Something I've noticed is it's not like I don't like the old Final Fantasy games, but I feel like I tend to enjoy the newer ones more. But I don't really have I don't know. I just don't really want to play 12. Like, I've seen 12 gameplay. I've seen a bit of it. And I just, for whatever reason, I just don't really want to play it that much. If you think I should play 12, let me know. I probably will play it eventually, but I don't know. It just doesn't interest me too much. I don't know why. X2 I don't really want to play. I kind of like read up on it, on what it's about, but I did hear gameplay is pretty cool. But yeah. I think it might be kind of hard to get 1 and 2. I think these ones are harder to find legally, so but I would be more interested in playing like the first 2 before like 12 and X2. 14's like kind of here too. I don't really want to play 14. I mean, I just don't really like this whole subscription based. Like, I don't really play MMOs where you have to subscribe. Because I feel like if I subscribe for the month, I just have to be playing for the month or else it's a waste. And I know you could cancel whenever, but what I mean is like, okay, let's say I subscribe today, right? So I play some today, and then later it's like near the end of the month. Or like it's been half of the month and I just feel like I should still be playing just to make the subscription worth or something. I don't know. That's like the thing I don't like. Probably if I just played with some friends, it would probably be cool. But yeah, so with 14 being there, I don't really have any interest in playing 11. I've only seen Ninja play 11. That's like all I've really seen of 11. But yeah, 4 is pretty up there. I guess this 4 as well. The second part, I don't know. So 6 is kind of weird because I've watched 2 people play 6, so I already know what happens. But I'd be down to play it still. I think it's still pretty up there. I guess I would just want to play 5 and 4 first before 6. So pretty much this is the order of the next Final Fantasy games I want to play. 13-2, Lightning Returns. I'd probably play World of Final Fantasy next. The thing is with World of Final Fantasy, because it like takes parts of like other Final Fantasy games, I feel like it's best to play World of Final Fantasy when you already know like other characters. Like if I think like Lightning, right? I'm pretty sure she's in there, like as a thing you could summon or whatever. And it would kind of suck if I like, you know, saw the character from a Final Fantasy game and then I didn't even play like the original game yet. That's the thing. So like, although I don't really know who the characters are in like 12, I'm pretty sure 1 would just be like Warrior Blight or something. So like 13 was always like, I always knew who Lightning was, so that I was more interested in playing. Like, I don't really know who the character in 12 is. Even like in these games, actually. Like 8, I knew who Squall was because of Kingdom Hearts. I knew who Cloud was. I didn't really know Zidane. I knew Tidus. Tidus. There's X. But yeah, I knew Lightning. Noctis, you know, I just played it, so. I had no idea who the characters in 3 were. But they're kind of silent, but they have personality. Rafia is really cool. But yeah. So here is the list of like the next Final Fantasy games I want to play. But, you know, in the year 2021, I'm probably only going to play like these 2. Replay some other Final Fantasy games and maybe like World of Final Fantasy. If I play any. That's at least like what I feel like I'll end up doing. The year 2019, I actually played a lot of Final Fantasy games. So before we end, I beat 15 the year it came out, right? And I started 10 the year 15 came out, but I didn't finish. But in 2019, I played 7 for the first time. I beat 9 after. I replayed 15. I beat 10 later on. I beat 8 later in the year in 2019. And then I beat 3. So like 2019 was like a Final Fantasy year for me. 13 or in 2020 I really only played FF7R and I was replaying a bit of 9 and a bit of 7. Actually no, just a bit of 9. I beat 13 at like the end of the year. I started like in the second half of the year, but I took a break at one point and then like I beat 13 on like the final year or final day of 2020. So 2019 was a Final Fantasy year. Who knows? Maybe 2021 will be as well. But it's already February. I've only really played some FF7R and FF7. But yeah, that's my Final Fantasy tier list. Once again, this part right here is just, you know, the next games I would like to play. But yeah, let's go Final Fantasy 15. Woohoo. And see you guys next time.